Another option is, now today we are going to understand about how do we deal with routing. So how to use routing techniques. So Angular routing, we are going to deal with Angular routing. So technically, first we need to understand what is routing and how do we work with routing. Actually, routing is a technique used in web applications to configure user user and SEO friendly URLs, actually user friendly SEO friendly URL. So user friendly URL, user friendly URLs actually allows user to access or query any content directly from URL. And SEO friendly URL allows web crawlers. So web crawlers to identify the location exact location within the resource. Actually, they can identify exact location where we are working, what we are watching, exact location in the resource. So web crawlers are the robots that are used for search engines, right? And another point is, the major point here is routing uses asynchronous technique using AJAX calls. So AJAX calls, so that allows to load new contents into page without reloading the complete page. So routing is important, and routing allows to reload new content into page without reloading the complete page. Without refreshing, the new details come. That means in single page applications, user can stay on one page and access everything from one page, from the page. That is what actually the concept here. That means in single page applications, user can stay on one page and can access everything from the page. So that means user need not to navigate out of the page. User can stay on one page and can bring everything onto that page. So that is what possible with routing. That's the reason actually routing is a technique which is implemented both client side and server side. Every technology is using these routing techniques, not just only Angular. Angular is implementing routing client side. Routing is implemented even server side also, right? So how this routing works? what are the various options in the routing. So we will see how to configure and how do we work with the routes. Actually, routing related configuration is automatically added at the time of creating application. While creating the project, if you remembered, we ignored routing module. When we are creating Angular application, first it asks, do you want to create a routing module? We ignored the routing module. So that means we don't want to create a routing module at that time. That's the reason we ignored the routing module. But now we need a routing module in our project so that we can create a proper navigation. And how do we create the routes? How do we configure the routes? Let's see how this process works. Generally, how this works. So to create and configure the routes, actually, so Angular, we have the library Angular/routes. Angular routes. So this is the module. So this is actually the core library. So this is the core library. And this core library provides all the functions and methods that are used for handling routing. So technically, so it is Angular router. That is the base library. And it provides a set of properties and methods, classes, so to handle the routes. And two important modules the library Angular router provides modules. So one module is a router module, another router module, and another one is routes. So router module and routes, these are the important modules which are used for configuring the routes. They are defined in Angular router library. Actually, so what is the purpose of this is nothing but, so routes is used to configure a set of routes for application. Configure set of routes for application. And router module is used for loading routes into, it is used for loading the routes into route table, loading the routes into route table. Actually, so in our Angular, the basic concept, architecturally, you should know that. So technically what happens is, so this is the client. So this is the client, right? And the client request comes to the web server. So web server. Client request comes to the web server. And we are using the web server, so which is IS or any web server. And here what happens is, this web server, actually we call this as HTTP server, right?